wouldn't you want to put the best looking proof video out there possible so that people, believe you? Wait, dude, there's no way. Oh my god, guys. Because they missed this little spot here and they went back. They're like, oopsies, my bad. You guys heard what I heard. This artist was accused of tracing somebody else, and so much more was revealed. And watch through this video to see for yourself whether you think they faked a speed paint to clear their name or not, because this is wild. So this is the tweet that kicks it off, and it's posted by user Rosie Art. And Rosie writes, "My beautiful commission for Bookish X Obsession has been stolen and traced, and I'm absolutely devastated. People have no shame. The author that's okay with hiring somebody to trace my work while being my follower, and that artist that is okay with tracing other artists' work and charging for it. I have that artist blocked for a while now due to the fact I can see they're tracing other people's work." And this is Rosie's commission. Absolutely beautiful. Rosie's art is just so pretty in general. So gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. It's so cute. They're kind of leaning on a stack of books, and this is the other version. Why does it light up 1 to 1 exactly? Again, some people will make the statement, not everybody owns a pose, or like da da da. It's one thing to have a pose and like to use the same pose, but if you like the same pose and you redraw it on your own, it's gonna look a little different. You cannot tell me that's not traced. A commenter adds, "It's not only the same pose, it's the same amount of books and body shape. This is wild and totally wrong. The author should not be using this image and should be getting a refund." Another user says, "I just commissioned something from them. Ugh. And I'm just seeing this." Another commenter adds, "That sucks. To the people who say you can't own a pose, you can't, but it doesn't give you free range to trace over somebody's work. Even the effing book stack lines up perfectly. Any real artist that isn't a hack would look at the image provided and make their very own version of it. And by doing so, it wouldn't line up as perfectly as it does." Another person replies, "Exactly. It's a super cute idea and can kick off a trend, but you can't just trace it and call it a day. You have to make it your own." And Rosie adds, "To people who don't see what's wrong, I hope this helps. This wasn't done intentionally, so I don't get why they're fake apologizing." So here, Rosie went into Procreate and overlapped the art pieces over the other. The books light up 1 to 1, guys. It's 1 to 1. The book thicknesses also are exactly the same, 1 to 1. Like, you're telling me you couldn't draw your own stack of books? And then look at the faces and the hair and the arms. The arms, the fingers, the hands, everything lines up. The chin, I guess, is like a teeny bit lower, but come on, like the body, everything, it's the same. It's literally traced. I think some people were just intentionally misinterpreting the original artist's statements because they were getting like some hate about this call out. I don't understand. No one is saying you can't draw this pose. No one is saying you can't draw the pose of leaning on a stack of books. What people are saying is don't grab somebody's artwork, trace directly over it, literally change like nothing, right? Besides, I guess, the hair color, face expression. Everything else, the pose, the stack of books, everything is the same. And then call it your work. And not only that, it wasn't even used privately. It wasn't even posted personal. This was a commission that was traced. Rosie's commission was traced for another commission. So then a little bit more information comes out. The Red Panda, the artist who did the tracing, has this post writing, "I told the author about everything and there might be a copyright issue, but she wanted the same pose. She came up with the idea of this one and I still made this one with the changes as well and the same one as what she wanted. And I asked her to use this one as I had a different pose than the one she wanted." And here in the DMs, Panda said, they showed the photo. They said, "My only question is the artist won't mind as you want the same pose as this." I think maybe they meant to say like, oh, the artist would mind if you wanted the exact same pose. So I made some tweaks to make it different. And then the author says, "I think the tweaks you made were fine." So this is the tweaks, right? Where the pose is slightly different. Instead of like crossing hands on the books, it's now like only one elbow on the book, they're looking away. You still trace the stack of books though. So then Rosie adds, "It seems like the author asked for my work to be traced and was okay with it. And this person literally charged somebody for my work. What kind of world do I live in where this is okay?" And the author had posted an apology on their Instagram that was later deleted that reads, "I want to address something openly and take responsibility. Recently, I commissioned art for use as a profile photo. When asking what I was looking for, I referenced another artist's pose as I adored it. My wording was careless and I didn't fully understand the implications. I now understand that requests like that can cross ethical and professional boundaries in the art community, especially when I risk tracing or replicating another artist's work, regardless of intent. The piece in question has been removed. To be clear, it was never my intention to copy, trace, or profit from another artist's work. I respect the immense skill and time that goes into illustration, and I regret that my request contributed to a situation that disrespected those boundaries. That responsibility is mine. I definitely understand the frustrations of the artist to see and have your work kind of like one-to-one traced and copied. Benefit of doubt, maybe because they're an author and not an artist, they don't understand the nuances of the art space and that, like, hey, here's this image. Can you just make this? Yay. Shouldn't do that in the art space. And a big one, honestly, is the artist should have been like, hey, I'm not going to trace it because that's not okay, right? I'm gonna make you a different version, similar concept, some books, and we can lean on it, etc. But regardless, at the end of the day, right? Like with the tweaks or with the exact same pose, still was traced though. The books and stuff, all of that, this is still traced. In the corrected pose, it's still the traced pile of books. It didn't really change the problem. So then the Red Panda, which was the artist that did the tracing, made a post on their threads writing, the author as well as me both have apologies on our main page on Instagram and we accept the mistake. I'm gonna give a little benefit of doubt because maybe English isn't the correct language, but it's up to the person who had their stuff stolen to like forgive you guys and accept the apology. But it might be just language barrier. And then some stuff came out because there were rumors circulating about this artist allegedly using AI in their art process. So the Red Panda writes, I've been recently told I'm using AI or tracing, which I never did. And here's another time lapse of art I recently made. I understand there's been AI issues all around, but I never supported AI and never will. So please don't directly claim somebody is using AI. I worked so hard from the past last year, and they uploaded a Speedpaint. They're drawing and they're sketching. Everything is perfect out the gate. The line work immediately perfect. They know exactly where every strand of hair needs to go. They know exactly where the hand, the laptop, the proportions are great out the gate, right? Not a single need to like rework or rechange things, which is quite interesting. Now, again, I'm going to add a big disclaimer. And if you normally watch my videos, you might get tired of all these disclaimers. But, just adding this, just because you draw like this, some people do draw like this. They just don't make any corrections along the way. Just because you do that does not mean you traced AI or you're copying AI, right? We just take everything in context. This person already has been proven to have traced from somebody else. We already have the one-to-one overlap. This is why now, when it comes to looking at their speed paints, it makes you a little bit more suspicious because they've traced in the past. So who's to say they didn't use Procreate, hide a layer beneath this image, and then trace that? And in the comments, people are a bit suspicious of the speed paint as well. People are writing, yep, the perfect skin, every hair fold and finger in place, and no adjustments, just like real artists. Another user says, not a single sketch adjustment in sight. No color adjustments, the head guidelines don't even make sense. Yep, you're definitely not tracing or color picking. Another user says, you're drawing as if you're outlining something. Every perspective, line, and proportion is perfect from the moment they're laid down. It's absolutely sketchy. And this was actually a speed paint of a commission. And the author who commissioned the piece writes, being the author who commissioned this piece and was clearly scammed, I want to make something blatantly clear. I will never knowingly support an artist who uses AI. I am so anti-AI that I'm beyond irritated I was foolish enough to purchase from this person. Sure, it happened before the AI claims came up, but it doesn't negate my frustrations. I reached out and demanded a refund, but it seems I'll need to contact my bank to get this settled. I only support human artists. And this is the frustrating thing too, right? Because like, I don't want people to go and blame authors who have unknowingly purchased work from people who stole or traced or whatever, because you don't have really an art background. You're like, oh yeah, the art looks good, right? I'm gonna commission them. And then later you find out that like, this person actually traced somebody's work or they stole something or they used AI in their process and you don't support that, but you didn't know. So now you're in this pickle because now you have some work. And even worse, this happens sometimes to authors who've purchased work for copyright usage, as in promo material, art in their books, even worse, the cover of the book. And now the authors are left in this confuzzled situation where now they have artwork that they don't support because it was created nefariously on pieces of media and works that they now need to deal with. Like, especially the worst case is when it's the cover, and now you have all these books with a cover that you don't support from an artist who stole, but you didn't know that. It gets so messy. So anyways, I just want empathy towards the victims and like the authors who unknowingly were victims of the situation, right? Victims of somebody who was doing nefarious things with their work. Because also the authors will get unfairly criticized. Maybe artists, right, who are more familiar with recognizing AI work and trace work will look at that and be like, wow, well, like you must support AI because you bought this piece. And the poor author is like, dude, I didn't know, man. Now, if you did know and you still purchased, that's on you. Don't do that. And so a little while later, the Red Panda adds another proof video, adding, I've been bombarded with AI tracing accusations since yesterday, and every work of mine was questioned. But I stayed quiet because I know I wasn't doing anything wrong. So here's the hand POV of me working on a latest art sketch. I'm drawing using a pen on a Wacom tablet, which is connected to the PC, and I use Photoshop. I never support AI or tracing. So here they show themselves drawing on a tablet, and people in the comments are really confused. Somebody says, and suddenly your art process is different than your speed paints. Why is your canvas so far? And somebody else adds, why is that drawing process completely different to the one you showed as the full process? It's a proof you can draw, but not a proof you haven't traced. It's more or less another proof that you did in the other artworks you posted a time lapse. And another author adds, you let the original author with the stack of books, right, take the fall for your work. And another person adds, this is what I came here to note too. There's been no backup or support for the author you worked with in this. And the original commenter adds, she gave him inspo and he failed to make it his own. Major yikes. Other people are a bit suspicious because somebody says, in the video, your hand movement don't fit the lines. So this is the video in question. And again, I'm just gonna say, you know me, I have my tinfoil hat that I'll put on for my little conspiracy theories. And this is where the cut is, right? I'm just saying, why does every person accused of tracing or using AI have the shittiest can cam videos? On God. It's literally as if they are trying to make it look as abhorrently bad as possible. Because why is everybody's proof video a video where the exposure is up giga high? You know what I mean? It's always like the brightness is up super high on the video. And now this could be my conspiracy theory, right? Adding it to more conspiracy theories. But we could barely see any of the lines on here. Like barely, like they're like sketching the top of the head. I can't even see any of the lines put in until they zoom in really, really close. It's because this is like a 480p video with like the exposure cooked up to the high heavens. I don't know. I'm just saying, right? Because like put yourself in the shoes of an artist who did not trace and did not use AI and you're falsely accused. Wouldn't you want to put the best looking proof video out there possible so that people, you know, believe you? I don't know. It just seems like the people who are called out for like tracing, they don't look like they're trying to clear their name. And I also want to add about the small canvas though, right? There is a technique like the thumbnailing technique where you make your canvas really small to block things out so that you can see the shapes, etc., and then you zoom back in. So it is an actual thing that artists do. So I don't want to like discount that as, oh, it's AI if you just zoom out on your canvas. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm just saying that you're not doing yourself any favors by clearing your name with a super tiny canvas with the exposure jacked up to the high heavens. This is just what I find also confusing about their proof video here. It's because like this drawing process is not the same as the time lapse they posted. Now they have a sketch layer that's visible that they're like drawing over in red. Where like some of the time lapses they've posted, there's no sketch layer at all. Wait, dude, there's no way. Oh my God, guys. So a commenter says, can you indulge me for a minute? I'm gonna go full conspiracy with this video. From a certain point, a cut before they start painting, the video is reversed. I mean, until the cut, the video was reversed, so they're erasing the line art. Another person talks about ways in which people can fake speed paints, because we've seen those. I've covered a bunch of stories of somebody possibly faking a monitor to overlay an OBS recording on their monitor, whatever. And this commenter says, well, I reversed the video and it makes sense in my theory. You can clearly see how they erase the middle of a line, leave the sides, focus on another line, then go back to erasing the rest of it. When they're trying to redraw a line, it's the same line. There's no variation of inclination or anything. They're Control-Zing and then erasing again. And there's two cuts in the video. So there's a cut between the sketch layer here, right? They cut into doing the line work. And then once the line work is finished, there's another cut into the rendering portion. There's another cut into this, okay? Let's put on our tinfoil hats for a second. And again, just hear me out, guys, okay? I pulled the video up into Premiere Pro just so we could take a look at the video, okay? Because do you guys notice something suspicious with the video? Besides the fact that it looks like absolute crap, because for some reason everybody accused of tracing has the shittiest looking video ever to prove themselves, you don't actually see the time. Now, in previous people who have faked speed paints, they also filmed like this. One other person notably, if I remember, I'll put the video in the comment section in the caption. The color wheel is in the top right corner in Photoshop. And you could see in the color wheel, they chroma keyed green out. Now, that's not what happened here. But note again, with the framing of this video, you can't see any of their layers, actually. You can't see their color wheel. And notably, you cannot see the time, which is in the bottom right-hand corner of Windows devices. Why do you think they hid the time, guys? Now, you might be like, well, maybe they just start filming really shittily. Again, put yourself in the shoes of somebody who genuinely didn't trace and is falsely accused. You would try your frickin' best to make a nice-looking video so you don't get accused of anything, right? This video looks like crap. I wonder why. It is also 480p. Take a look here, guys. I'm just gonna do a little zoom in here. Look at the sidebar here, okay? I use Photoshop. I don't draw in it, but I use it for like other stuff. Just humor me, okay? That is your brush. It is above the clone stamp tool and beneath this like whatever blemish remove tool. You can also see when you're using it right up here, it will have a brush icon because you're using a brush. Look here, right? We can see there is the clone stamp tool right here. This is the blemish remove tool. This is the brush tool. They're using the brush tool when they sketch. And you can see it as they're sketching. Just look over here and look at the brush they're using. That's the brush tool. They're sketching some red sketches. Now, right here, boom, right there. Hey guys, wonder what tool is being used here. Let me just cut to the middle, okay? Just take a look at this. What is that, guys? This is the clone stamp tool. This is the brush above the clone stamp tool and beneath the little band-aid thing. They have their paint bucket fill set to gradient. So that's what it looks like, this icon, right? You see here, this is like a gradient looking icon. Look at what's above that. Oh, is that not the freaking eraser? You can see it up here, right? I genuinely can't believe this. What the frick, man? Look at that. And notice the way they frame their camera. They're trying to crop out the tools too. This is why their camera position looks so freaking awkward, because they're trying to hold their camera or phone or whatever in a spot where it somehow crops out both the time, so you can't see the fact that they were reversing the video, and the tools in Photoshop. So you can't see they're using an eraser. You notice this. Look at how they're framing it, right? Like, here, just notice this. Here, when they're doing the sketch, they have no problem showing you the tools. Look at when they're doing the sketch. They have no problem showing you the toolbar. But now, when they're doing the line art, suddenly the entire toolbar is cropped out. By the way, once they go to coloring, oh, you can see the toolbar again. That's a choice. That was not an accident. That was intentional. So what are they doing exactly? I theorize that they're doing exactly what that commenter said. They did the line art, they completed the line art, and then they went back with an eraser and they cleaned it up using an eraser. One other thing I want to point out to you guys, okay? Let me zoom in here, okay? Photoshop, when you change your brush size, the icon size will also match. So if I use a brush size of like 6, you know, let's say I'm using a brush size of 6, it looks tiny. A 4, right? It looks tiny. And when I make it 80, it becomes humongous. Just look at that, okay? Big. Just humor me for a second, okay? I know this video looks like crap. Okay, I just cropped out the bar and I put it up here on the side so you can see the toolbar when he moves. Just look at this, okay? Look at this person do the line art. They're drawing line art, okay? Look at the brush strokes. They are using, allegedly, a single weight brush. As in, they never change the thickness of the brush for the line art. It is all the same size. Just look as they're drawing, okay? It's all the same line. Why is your brush size going in and out, in and out? Judging by this size, this is like a size 40 brush, okay? Like, I'ma be real. If you're drawing somebody like this, you're drawing eyeballs, you draw the mouth, and then you make the brush size 55, and you're drawing the other, it's gonna look like this. Come on, man. Like, there's no way you can get the same line weight, the same very thin. This is like a 5-point weight. And this is the icon in Photoshop. And not only that, you can see it literally get smaller and bigger and smaller and bigger, except the line weight actually never changed. So then if you look here, I just reversed it and put it in like 30 speed to slow it down. You can see literally what's happening. Look at how big that brush circle is. They're erasing. Look at them zoom in and draw the eye. They're actually erasing it. And in fact, you can see them accidentally erase a little bit of the eyeliner above. It looks like a full circle, but my guess is that they're not actually using a hard brush. My guess is that they're using like a soft eraser brush that looks more like this, so that there's more like feathering on the sides. This is so damning too. Look at the way they draw that line. They're erasing. Look, they because they erased, they missed this little spot here. And they went back. They're like, oopsies, my bad. And they go back. What is this? This is not a pen. Look at that. Wait, they erased 2 lines, or they drew it. See, in reverse, it looks like they drew 2 lines. But now you see that? And then I think the person is head on, because they said to make it look like they're redoing and undoing, they just Control-Zing and redoing it again, right? They're erasing like from the middle out. And look again, they erased and they missed part of the line. Oh my god. The final thing I want to add about why this is also the eraser brush is if you go to Photoshop, the regular brush does not have a line beneath it, but the eraser brush does. This person intentionally filmed the shittiest of quality video ever, but you can still see that line by the eraser here. It's an eraser. You can see, this is not a hickey. I'm getting warm because I'm getting excited and like frustrated, right? And I'm breaking out in rashes as a result. Oh my lord. And the nail in the coffin, again, here are some of their other time lapses where they're drawing individual strands of hair. Note, there's no red sketch beneath this. Where's the red sketch you normally draw with? This is how you draw hair. It's as if you know exactly where every single curl belongs. And again, like they draw part of the arm and then the other part of the hand, and it's already perfectly blocked out for the missing book, as if you already knew where the book was gonna go. And the even more nail in the coffin is alleged AI use in the past as well. This is some of their old work. Look at the castle. What is happening with the brickage? What is this in the back here? Why are none of these divots all the same? It's all the same castle. You literally drew them all in a row. Why does every single one look different with like little clunky things in here? We have a pillar melting into something else. And then on this side, we have more really, really wobbly brickwork and a pole that splits into, it intersects into the castle wall for some reason. That is actually wild. This is going on the list of really, really, really horrible attempts from artists to try to fake a speed paint to pretend they weren't tracing. It would be easier to learn how to draw at this point, genuinely. So with that, oh my gosh, what are your thoughts? Do you think the conspiracy theory is correct? Do you think that they faked the process? Because conveniently there's 2 cuts in the video. Or do you think we're all wrong and they genuinely drew it? Anyways, don't send hate to any parties involved. Tracing is not okay. Don't trace other people's work and sell it as a commission. Not cool. Don't do that. And with that, I hope you check me out on Etsy. I have digital art there for streamers and creators. I also have a coffee with free resources. And I stream on Twitch 3 days a week, Mondays and Saturdays at 6 p.m., Thursdays at 7:30. So hope to catch you all there or in another video. Peace.